Welcome back to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. We are beginning our Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast six-pack. That's right. So pull out your favorite six-pack. It doesn't have to be beer. It could be Pepsi or Dr. Pepper or Mountain Dew, or it could be something else that comes in a six-pack. Those juice jug things, those things. The
Oh, the Capri Suns. Capri
yeah,
Suns could be one.
they come in as anything that comes in a six-pack. But anyway, basically, sort of going to be a top six, not necessarily in order like 6 to 1, just six things that we're talking about each week. This our first one is going to be, and this is just our opinions. These aren't like people are going to disagree with us as wrestling fans do, but whatever. And we both have our own list, so technically it's a 12-pack. Whatever, it's a six-pack. It just sounds better. Six-pack sounds better. This is going to be changes that WWE should make in the coming future. They've made a lot of good changes the past couple weeks that we're excited about. The women's division now instead of the Divas division. AJ Styles, number one contender. Shane McMahon. But these are basically our six things that we think WWE should change in the coming future to kind of make the product better, or make us enjoy it more. My number six is going to be I did a change and I wrote a little bit of a reason why, but I think for my six, it's going to be they should replace the U.S. title with a television title. First of all, they don't care about the U.S. title. And I think if they added a television title like a lot of other companies have, it would help up build not just Raw, but SmackDown too, with a title that isn't just specifically made for pay-per-views, a title that's made to be, defended on TV. WCW had one, ECW has one, or had one, New Japan has one, TNA had one at one point, and then it got changed to like 4 other titles because they're cheap. But I just think that's something that they should look into. It would get you more excited about, a title match every week or every other week or whatever. But what's your any thoughts on that? And your
And for my 15-second rebuttal on that, I just added that in randomly. I feel like I'm running out of time and I'm rambling. But I feel like they should do like a WWE Network title. We've talked about this before too. Maybe even just to kind of keep up with the times a little bit, do one that's only defended on the WWE Network, which then factors into having more specials on the WWE Network that actually mean something maybe. That would be pretty cool. But my number six, I think, is an obvious one for everyone. Not in any particular order. I just kind of wrote them down as I thought of them, which is funny that I found this one as my last one. My number six was a 2-hour Raw. We've talked about this so much, and I think it would just do it a lot of justice. I feel like I enjoy SmackDown a lot more than I enjoy Raw, and it's not just because of Morrow. I mean, he's great. He's terrific. But I think it's a lot easier on the writers as well, to book a 2-hour show than it is a 3-hour show. So, I think that definitely helps. A 2-hour Raw would definitely be great. And kind of in addition to that, it wouldn't even hurt to like cut something down a little bit. Because there's a lot, like if you're gonna keep, let's just say hypothetically you keep Raw 3 hours. If you're gonna keep Raw 3 hours, cut down SmackDown or something. Or maybe cut down Raw a little bit and cut down SmackDown a little bit too. Make SmackDown maybe like an hour show and make Raw 2 hours. I think that would work too. Just because it's not cutting down any sort of importance. It's just number one, the superstars don't have to work as hard. Number two, it just helps them out a little bit. I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely think that could help, because it is kind of hard. I mean, unless you have a really exciting Raw, you get to a point where you're like, why? And most of it is just filler and, useless matches that don't even get enough time to really matter. So why why have a 3 hour Raw where you have to throw in all that stuff that you don't care about? Just cut it down to two. But my number five is going to be to add a women's tag team title. I think that would, build even more of the women's division and add more depth to it because, it's like I've said in, past videos, it's not fair that the guys have, the world heavyweight title, they have the intercontinental title, they have the US title, they have a tag team titles, and the women have one title. It's just, it's sexist. I'm gonna say it, it's sexist. No, but I think it would be cool for them to have a women's tag team title. TNA used to have one. Many companies had them at one time or another, or still do. But I just think that would be something cool, something unique for them to have.
Alrighty. Hey, the Sixers won. Sorry, I just saw it on Facebook. Had to get hyped for a second. Probably like I think it's their like seventh win of the year. So you gotta be happy for the small things. And as we continue, I rebuttaling a little bit on yours. I agree with that too. Helps out with depth, definitely. You know, I think I would like to see it shared, kind of shared between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT a little bit. So then it kind of, because right now I feel like the main roster doesn't have a ton of depth for the women. They just brought some new people up from NXT though, so they kind of got a little bit more. So I'm wondering, maybe if they shared it between all three of them. Plus that could help build some of those younger NXT women up a little bit faster, if need be. I think that would be kind of cool. My number five is rebrand SmackDown. I've said this before, at one point or twice. I feel like, we do feel like SmackDown is kind of irrelevant, but I feel like SmackDown is an Attitude Era thing, and we need to run away from the Attitude Era fast. Because any little reminder of the Attitude Era is like, oh God, I want to go back. So in order for WWE to rebrand themselves and kind of say the Attitude Era is back here, which you can't see my hand, but the Attitude Era is back here. And we're trying to go here. We're trying to go in kind of a similar direction, but also a different direction as the Attitude Era. And for them to do that, we need to get rid of SmackDown. SmackDown was an Attitude Era creation, I feel like, and which would then end up having Thunder be created by WCW. But I feel like if they rebranded this SmackDown show as another type of a show, even if they made it Superstars or they made it main event, or they can make it as something different, even more different. I don't know what would kind of go with the times right now, but if they made it something kind of different, I think that would definitely be a good thing, because I think we need to. I think, and we, like, I work for WWE. WWE needs to try to run away from the Attitude Era as much as possible. So then people will quit. Like, the comparisons are never gonna stop, but it's a lot easier. For example, if you look at the NBA, it's a lot easier for people to not make comparisons. When I had a point and I forgot it. It's a lot easier for fans in the NBA, like the old school fans, to be like, I thought basketball before was better. It's a lot easier to run away from that when you have a different style, when it's completely different and it's more about the three ball now. So, like, with this, I just feel like we need another, like, if we're gonna keep that second brand or that second show, it needs to be something that's not SmackDown. I mean, it can be Down Smack, it'd be
I like it. I like Down Smack. It has a certain ring to it. But yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. Something, just something completely new, to get us kind of excited about a second show again. But my number, we're at what, four now, I think. Yeah, four is, it's gonna be hard for some people to take, because they love him so much. Fire Cole. Just, I mean, there's multiple reasons, and I don't even need to get into them. But also, he is too an Attitude Era creation, if you think about it. I mean, come on now. I just I don't know. It's like the active roster. I feel like the active roster needs to change over time. I think, the commentators need to change over time. And Cole has been there he's been there since, even when Jerry the King Lawler and JR were there. I mean, you could keep Jerry because he's just a legend and he's still. I mean, he'll obviously kind of retire at some point, especially with his health condition, health issues, and things like that. Having the heart attack a couple, I think it was like 2 years ago or something like that on Raw. Obviously he's going to have to retire at some point, but just Cole, I don't know. It feels like he hasn't developed at all in the time that he's been there. He can barely call a match. He barely knows moves. And then you have a guy like Morrow who can call a match, knows moves, knows history of WWE,
And
knows,
he's also very interrupt you. Posting on my remote, but I won't forget it if I don't. I feel like Maro's very like up with the times a little bit. Like he makes references that no one else makes.
yeah, he pays attention to these guys past. He'll bring up things about them personally that from in the indies or whatever. He knows moves. I've heard him explain the history of some moves, which is something that Cole would just blow his mind. He would not be able to comprehend that. But yeah, I would just get rid of him. You can keep him on creative, obviously. Keep him on a backstage, behind the scenes thing, because he's been there for so long. You don't just want to fire him. I wouldn't want to see him just lose his job, but I just don't want to see him on commentary anymore. But your number 4.
Real quick on that, I agree. I didn't know you were gonna. I didn't think you were gonna say that last point. So I feel like I don't know if they should necessarily fire him, but give him that backstage role, even if it's like an interview role. Kind of with what TNA did with Mike Tenay. It wasn't that Mike Tenay was getting boring or anything. They just needed something to spice it up a little bit, so just a different change, another kind of voice. When they were kind of rebranding themselves. So I could see that kind of being a good move. Next for my number 4, I would say bring another must-see show to the network. NXT is really good. NXT Takeover is really good, but NXT is not must-see. And what I'm saying is the main thing people gravitate towards, and I'm gonna explain. The main thing people gravitate towards is the main roster, and that's what WWE focuses on. So WWE focuses on their target audience as being the main roster. So put something on the network that appeals to those main roster fans that then makes them trickle down into, number one, buying the network more, number two, trickle down to watching more NXT, and kind of getting to know those guys too, because we all know that WWE's main target audience is on the network, but also is the main roster. And I feel like if they bring something else that's more must see, so let's just say, for example, save yourself some money and move SmackDown to the network, move SmackDown to the network, or have some sort of like have the first match of Raw, or like a specific match from Raw on the network, just on the network, where you kind of have to have the network to see it. I wouldn't say move Raw to the network right now, because I still think it's people who are like, oh God, I can't, no, not my TV, no, they can't let go of it. But I would say, bring something that's kind of must see, because I love NXT. Casey, you love NXT. Most people love NXT, but WWE has made it very obvious that their main goal is to satisfy the main roster fans. Their main goal is to bring those main roster fans to the network. If their main goal was to, satisfy the NXT fans, I guess you could say, they would have put NXT on TV. So I think they need some kind of must-see show. Like, I mean, they have all the extras, which are great, and seem to be must-see, but I mean like a must-see wrestling show. where like if they change SmackDown to where it kind of went hand in hand with Raw, there you go. That's a must see show now.
Yeah, and I think sort of to that effect, they kind of they need something to sort of bridge the gap from cable to the network. Just because it is kind of a daunting thing if you haven't before to go over to just a purely internet based network. It's kind of hard, but I think if there's something that kind of bridges the gap, like you said, if they added a match from Raw or something that you had to go on the network to see, something like that, or a specifically
Like for example, real quick, just to piggyback off that, I don't know what you think about this too. Um, like if they had like a specific, like kind of a dark match, that was a really good dark match every week, and they had that on the network exclusively, like, and they made it seem like it was part of the show. I think that would be like maybe a way they could do it. So where you don't take the integrity out of the main event, but you can also have something for them to gravitate towards.
yeah, that would be something cool. But let's moving on to number three. We're in the top three. We're in the top three. My number three: create a six-man tag team title. WWE loves its six-man matches. Other companies have six-man titles or something similar or equivalent. Chikara has one. I'm trying to remember other companies. A lot of um, promotions in Mexico, I think, have them too. But create a six-man title. Why not? We see enough six-man matches on Raw and SmackDown. Why not? Why isn't there a six-man tag team title? Again, we don't want to get to a point where there's too many titles, but you have these matches. Why not make them worth something? Um, I don't know what you would think about that.
Um, I do think it's a good idea. It's one of those things where, and I know me and Tyshawn have talked about this. Maybe you even had some sort of like faction title where it doesn't necessarily put the staple on six man. It can be more than that. There can if you got a 5-man faction, you want to face a 3-man faction, and that 3-man faction thinks they can take you. There you go. Kind of like a faction title. I think that would be kind of something that's unique. That because WWE loves to you know we made this by ourselves. So I feel like that would be something they could definitely do. But yeah, I agree. I definitely like the Lucha Underground 6-man title. I know, or 6-person title. I know who is it? I know WCW used to have one. I'm pretty sure.
I
Um,
did for a short period of
yeah,
time.
for like 2 months or something before they got bought out. So that was kind of interesting. But my number three is drop the gimmick pay-per-views, please. And this is more so bringing importance to the network. You want more people to buy the network, so I mean, okay. I was gonna say give me my money's worth, but then I'm paying $10, so I guess I'm technically anyway. I think drop these stupid gimmicky pay-per-views, Extreme Rules. I mean, I would even say replace Extreme Rules with something like Breaking Point or something where it can be a submission themed pay per view, but you can it can also be a hardcore themed pay per view. If you think about it, because there's different breaking points that you can have. I thought that was a good one. I don't know. I was gonna say Cross the Line, but that was a TNA one, so that doesn't exist. Um, I just I just want to see, like, I want more importance in these pay per views. Like I like the pay per views like Payback. I'm fine with that, but build it as something. Build it as a as some sort of spectacle. Because um, I think one of the things with WrestleMania, it initially as we're watching it live, it can honestly I feel like, and this is kind of my opinion, it can be like just an okay show. But I think because it's such a spectacle, it makes it that much better. So when you build something as a big, huge spectacle, you're gonna be excited. going into it, like the Super Bowl, whether it's all an offensive game or it's a defensive game, because it's built as such a spectacle, you're gonna enjoy it regardless, as a fan. But yeah, I think they should just definitely get rid of these gimmicky pay-per-views, and throw some stuff in there where they can kind of incorporate the feuds in it. To a certain degree, I'm kind of cool with keeping Fastlane. It's kind of a new one, but I'm kind of cool with keeping Fastlane just because it is technically the road to WrestleMania. So I kind of see where they were going with it, but you know, you know, get rid of the gimmicky pay-per-views and throw on some more network specials. Um,
Yeah. One of mine was very, very similar to that. I went a little bit more into it, but basically replace a bunch of pay-per-views, more of the gimmicky ones. I said, uh, you just said keep Fastlane, but I said replace Fastlane in February with No Way Out. Bring back No Way Out because No Way. I feel like No Way Out was always a good one. It didn't, I don't think it never needed to be replaced with Hell in a Cell or Fastlane. I would bring Payback. I would replace Payback with Judgment Day. I just miss Judgment Day. It kind of in general just sounds better than Payback. Payback kind of sounds stupid if you just think about it as a pay-per-view. Payback for what? Paying back a loan? Pay like what? If it's I don't know. Um, I would replace Vengeance, bring back or Extreme Rules, bring back Vengeance. I think Extreme Rules, match and pay-per-view have kind of run their course. Vengeance can still basically be the same extreme style pay-per-view, but the Extreme Rules thing is just it's done. No one really cares about it anymore, I don't think. I mean, it's a cool pay-per-view, but it's too gimmicky anymore. Money in the Bank, I would replace. I would bring something like a Bash at the Beach because Money in the Bank is in June, so like the summertime. Again, Money in the Bank match can be kept for like Mania, because even on the Money in the Bank show, there's only one Money in the Bank ladder match. So what's the point of calling it Money in the Bank? Um, it's run its course. Also, a pay-per-view like Bash at the Beach would be unique, bringing that back. Since WWE owns WCW now, everything that was WCW. And you can't tell me with all the money and the connections Vince has that he can't find a beach venue somewhere that they could set up a pay-per-view. I think it's something they could do. I would replace Battleground again with either No Mercy or Halloween Havoc. They're in October. I think Halloween Havoc would be an interesting one to bring back from WCW. Night of Champions, I would bring back King of the Ring. We've all been talking about how we want King of the Ring back. Even Night of Champions, half the time they don't defend all the titles. So what's the point? And King of the Ring is a tournament style pay-per-view, so you don't even have to defend any of the titles, but you can still, there's still something to be won there. There's something to look forward to. Let's see, where was I? I lost my place. TLC I would replace with Armageddon. TLC is always in December. Armageddon was in December, and it makes more sense at the end of the year to have Armageddon. Armageddon is, with the end of the world. Or December is the end of the year. It kind of works. I don't know. But those are just pay-per-views that I would replace, and just ideas of, some pay-per-views they could bring back that I think would be cool to bring back. But my last, that was going to be my number one, but my last thing I would bring back some, and not on a regular basis, but bring back some retired matches for, special for big pay-per-views. Bring back an Iron Man match, do lumberjack matches, 3 Stages of Hell matches. I would even say, bring back the World War III match from WCW. If you don't know what that is, it's they had 3 rings with 60. It was basically a 60-man over the top rope battle royal with 3 rings. I think that would be something unique to have. It was cool for WCW, and why not? WWE do it. I know people will say, "Oh, they stole that from WCW," but what hasn't WWE stolen from WCW? So, um, yeah. What's your last one?
All right, actually, I got two more because
Oh,
technically,
yeah, yeah.
um, my number two would be push younger talent. Um, and we say this a lot, but more so I'm talking about those NXT guys. And trying to get them onto the main roster more smoothly. And make it to where they don't fizzle out when they get to the main roster. I feel like they can throw away the politics in the backstage. If you don't want to use them, tell them you're not going to use them so they can go somewhere else. Um, cause I feel like if you're just gonna, cause like I'm sure there's guys that are like, I'm just sticking around because they're gonna use me eventually. You always want to keep that hope alive. But if there's no hope because they're not gonna use you right now, let them actually do something else. Let them do some indie shows or something. To at least keep doing what they're doing. At least stay in shape if you're not gonna use them at that point. And I feel like there should be more promos with the main roster, more interpromotional type of stuff with the main roster, with NXT and the main roster. Roadblock was a good idea. It was just poorly executed. They should do stuff like that. Like if they brought back, for example, the King of the Ring, they could incorporate some NXT guys. And don't get me wrong, NXT guys don't necessarily have to win it. Maybe every once in a while, but they can have these NXT guys make a splash in that tournament, show what they got in that tournament, without having to bring them up and them just like job out. So I think that would definitely be, a good thing. I also, and I would like a tournament type of a thing, even if it wasn't necessarily the King of the Ring, because I think that's too gimmicky for today's wrestling fans or whatever, which they still do it. But I feel like maybe some sort of tournament, some sort of tournament that meant something. Kind of like what they do with the Under Memorial Battle Royal. They bring in different guys. Last year I think they had Hideo Itami was in it, so that was that gave him kind of a WrestleMania moment, which was cool. So I think that's always a good thing when it comes to pushing more talent. And um, mixing, some of those NXT guys with or women, with the main roster a little bit more. Like have a match here and there where somebody just makes a surprise appearance. They're not necessarily debuting, but they're making a surprise appearance. Or maybe you have like, I mean, since they've had part-time guys before, um, maybe you make them like a part-time main roster guy as you're still trying to build them in NXT, where they don't show up every week, but they like maybe cut a promo on them, or maybe they get attacked in the backstage area and there was a pre-recorded type of a thing or something. I think that would definitely translate a lot better. So then you're not just bringing them up. Oh, hey, he's debuting. You can kind of like slowly bring them up, especially those guys that you don't think that can mesh with the main roster fans. Because a lot of times these guys can mesh with the main roster fans, they're just not using them correctly. Um, and then number one is continuity with storylines. And this isn't even just for WWE. This is for everyone, every wrestling company ever. At this point, because like none of them are really great at it. Maybe Lucha Underground, just because they're so scripted that they're so storyline based, so scripted that they kind of have to have continuity. Um, let's not forget about the other titles. Is my main concern here. Number one, if you're gonna have a storyline, don't forget about it. Um, kind of the issue I had with the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn thing. If you're gonna keep that storyline going, keep it going. Don't just throw 5 other men in a match with them and be like, oh, we can still keep this going though. Um, every once in a while, yes, you can do that if you want to like make the feud a little bit more elongated. But I'm just saying you need to stick with what you got. If you're telling the fans, hey, we're gonna have Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, um, at WrestleMania, and then you don't. why? So I just feel like that's kind of something they need to do more. And with that, I want them to not forget about these other titles. You know, you know, don't defend them on Raw all the time, but every once in a while, yeah. But also have some significant storylines with these titles. You know, like for example, I've been talking about this a lot with people. I think to immediately, if you're gonna try to build the Wyatt family up, have them completely take over. You know, have Bray win the world title, have Harper win the Intercontinental title, have Braun and Rowan win the tag titles, you know, and then make them feel like they're actually a big deal. You know, have someone, I don't know, just hypothetically speaking, have Baron Corbin come in and be a part of the Wyatt family and win the U.S. title or something, you know, and like have them take over. So then you have to have a storyline for those titles. It forces you to have a storyline for those titles. I think that would be a good idea. Just as one storyline idea to kind of help them out a little bit and get them jump started with it.
Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, these were just some of our ideas, things that we would like to see done that we think would help the product going forward. Like I said, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of good things that they're doing right now that hopefully they keep on doing with the new rebranded women's division. You know, moving into the next chapter in the women's division with the brand new, never before seen, blah 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 women's title. Because okay, it was a botch. It was a mix up from Lita. It's okay. We're gonna let it slide, but still. So yeah, these are just some things, like I said, that we would like to see happen. You know, let us know if you agree. If there's anything else you think that they should change. Like I said, we're gonna try to do this. I think every Tuesday is a good day for us to kind of keep a weekly thing going on. You know, since we're not gonna be doing the WrestleManias anymore, we might be doing other retro pay-per-views, but we need a break. Um, but I think next week we're going to be doing, and then from then on we'll kind of figure out other ones. But WWE guys, talent, men and women, talent that WWE should sign going on, not including guys already confirmed, because that's kind of cheating. Like they should sign Bobby Roode. I saw him at an NXT show. They should sign. No. Guys that we think they should sign, guys that they could use, that would do well in WWE or re-sign Kurt Angle. But that'll be next Tuesday, and then from then on, we'll do some other ones. We have some other ideas coming up. I'm sure DJ will come up with some ideas, and Justin will try to get in on it. We might let him in. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But we will see you on the next video, which should be NXT or TNA, depending on which one we do first. But make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment, share, follow on Twitter. Tweet us. Tweet us your suggestions on a six-pack we should do. And we will see you on the dippity that is sometime flippity, but not as much anymore, because apparently everyone hates the flippity dippity except for everyone. It's just DJ. But we will see you on the next video. Peace out, Cub Scout.